back. Everywhere open.
Favorite wife things. Loading.
Yes. Me too, sister. Sister, na 3 video. Jesus. Problem day. Come, book problem.
Kelvin is a very wealthy young who liked nothing in life that money can buy. His girlfriend broken up with him despite doing everything for him. His numerous girlfriends started ending their relationship with him. Kelvin became frustrated about his situation and did not know what to do. In the midst of everything, he started getting lonely over time. And he said, how can he be this wealthy and lack companionship? Then he make a promise to himself that he is going to use his money to get as many women as he can. Then he remembered how he has been helpful to some women and continues to do that. She proposed to Sandra, who is a student and has been supporting by paying her school fee. Then he called on Rose, who is a needy girl that he supported with cash for her mother's health. Lastly, he called Ruth to come over. She's a local sales girl that sells food. He gathered the 3 ladies for meeting. Sandra, Rose and Ruth were surprised to meet each other at the place. Kelvin came out to meet them and she proposed to them. The ladies couldn't believe what they were hearing, so they asked why. All he told them is that he has money to take care of them, and he knows they need that money. Kelvin asked them if they are not interested in marrying him, they can walk out if they want. He waited for a few minutes, but none of the ladies refused to leave. So Kelvin then assumes they all agree to marry him. Kelvin went on to marry all 3 ladies. The ladies were so happy to be married to a rich man, especially Rose and Ruth. They were so money conscious and all they wanted money. Few days after, Kelvin sat the ladies down, asked them how their intimacy will go. Rose first, followed by Ruth, then Sandra. Kelvin the rules to avoid the ladies from fighting him and among themselves. The ladies agreed as far as he keep giving them money as much as they want. The ladies started taking turns. Rose went in the room first and Kelvin pointed cucumber to her and told her to use it to satisfy herself. Rose was happy to use the cucumber, thinking after that Kelvin was going to do his. After she was done, Kelvin gave her money and told her to leave. Rose was okay with it. It got to Ruth's turn. Since she is local and uneducated, she always doesn't understand some things. Kelvin told her to take the cucumber to satisfy herself, and she took it and bite it. She was eating the cucumber rather. Kelvin has to explain to her what he meant. Ruth told Kelvin that she will never do that. Ruth told him is because Rose has exhausted his power. Kelvin gave her money to leave the room and invited Sandra. When Sandra got to the room, Kelvin asked her to take the cucumber to satisfy herself. She also refused and told him she will wait for him anytime he is ready. After all, she is studying for her exams, so anytime she come to the room, they can have a good conversation to get to know each other better. Kelvin have a money and she left. Few months into the marriage, this continues like this, and the ladies started getting worried why he has not slept with any of them. So one night, as the ladies take turns again, Kelvin has to explain to Rose why he is avoiding intimacy with her. He told her that his manhood cannot erect. Rose did not believe him. Kelvin continues to tell Rose that it was the reason. Now Rose became more confused and angry and she left. Sandra took her turn and Kelvin told her the same thing. Sandra was calm about it and asked him what actually happened to him, for this caused his manhood being malfunctioning. Kelvin explained that he got into an accident and caused it. Sandra comforted him and told him there is no problem that money can't solve. Few weeks later, now all the women started bickering about their husband's situation. They were mocking him and calling him tomato. Ruth and Rose were considering leaving, but thinking about the money, they continued to stay. The 2 women were rude and antagonizing Kelvin. Sandra tried her best to let the women know that their character was not good looking. Ruth and Rose continues to insult Kelvin. Now it has gotten to the point Kelvin could not stand it. Kelvin brought in a strange man, called all the wives and told them that since he cannot satisfy them sexually, this man here to do that for them. It is not by force, but the wives that are interested can go ahead and do that. He has given them the go-ahead. After all, he is paying the men to do the job for him. Rose was so happy about the new arrangement. Ruth was confused and Sandra was angry and sad about the situation. Rose went on to sleep with this new stranger and she had fun. Ruth also went on to get her groove on. Sandra on the handler refused to have anything to do with the stranger. This arrangement went on for a while. Ruth back out at a point. Rose continues, and the strange man got exhausted, but took his time and continued because he was paid to do it. While all these was going on, Sandra was making research on Calvin's condition, whether it can be solved. The strange man one day attempted to sleep with Sandra, but she refused and ouched him away. Rose one day had a conversation with Ruth and told her she cannot continue like this, married to Calvin and sleeping with another man. What if she wants to get pregnant for her husband? What will happen now? This was not the life she imagined to live. Ruth agreed with everything else was saying, but she insisted that she is not ready to leave because of the money she is getting. Few days after Rise packed and left the house. So now there are Ruth and Sandra in the house. Calvin paid off the strange man, since there's no use of him in the house. Sandra called Calvin and started sharing what he found out about his condition. Sandra told him there is a solution, and that is a surgery. Calvin did not believe, so Sandra showed him proofs on the internet. She told him she has been making a lot of research on his condition and possible solution to it. After some few reading, Calvin sort of believed that it can be solved. Calvin planned for his trip to India. He came back few weeks and his condition was solved. Ruth was the happiest and was blocking Sandra from hanging Calvin. Sandra managed to get close to Calvin and was happy for him. Ruth asked Calvin if her can now perform in bed, whether it's working now. Calvin assured his wives that he is now a full man and can perform his husband duties. He hugs them and they went into the house happily. Calvin special thanks Sandra for everything. Thanks for watching this recap. This channel brings you the best Nollywood movies. We save you time and money. Don't forget to subscribe and like our videos for more movie recap.
Come, baby. I'm fine.
Yeah. You're fine.
But my own back not here.
It's okay. It's okay.
Make I go inside now. Go bulldozer everywhere.
Oh, wait, oh. First wife is still inside, oh.
Eh?
Yes. She's still inside.
Inside where? They do waiting. They say 30 minutes. That girl. I think you say this girl gets very bad plan. Eh?